Here's a story that's not being discussed this morning with the Warriors' loss to the Lakers. Andrew Wiggins was awful. And he wasn't awful. He was a little inconsistent against the Kings coming off that, hiatus. I thought last night he added nothing. Andrew Wiggins, if he doesn't give you 18 and take a little bit off Steph's plate, they're in trouble. Because Ric Bucher's now joining us. Bottom line is Steph, Clay, Wiggins, and Poole.
Yeah.
You can beat the Lakers. Last night it was Steph, Poole, no Wiggins, hit and miss Clay.
Yeah.
So I thought a lot of it was not just not stopping AD, which is going to be a problem in the series.
Yep.
So let's first start with Wiggins. Just an outlier to you, or is a matchup bad?
No. I would expect that they're going to figure out a way to make him more impactful. I do think that at the end when they had that push, he was huge on the boards. He showed you what he was capable of with his athleticism, because he got like 3 or 4 offensive boards on one possession, kept kicking it out for threes, and they just couldn't hit that shot that would turn it over. So I would expect that he's going to be, he has to be more impactful at both ends, but I would say especially defensively. As this series goes on, while Kevon Looney had a lot of rebounds, I don't think you're going to see the Kevon AD matchup as much. You might see some Jonathan Kuminga. You're going to see Wiggins. I thought Wiggins was very...
Last night they got JaMychal Green out there. He just more size to shoot anything.
Yeah, and that was the tell in seeing JaMychal Green. Steve Kerr was basically just looking at his hand and going, what can I play here? Let me see what works as the series goes on. He said it afterward. It was very much a feel-out game. I believe that to be the truth. It felt a lot to me like game 1 of the Kings series. They could have won it. They didn't play particularly well. They could have snuck out a win. If they had, I heard you earlier, I agree. I think it would have been a shorter series. But nothing really happened last night that changes my mind about the Warriors winning the series. The Lakers are what they are. And so they came in readily defined on how they want to play. The Warriors came in going, we played a completely different series. Let's see what kind of works as we go along. And I believe once they look at the tape, they're going to find they're going to tweak their defensive matchups. But that's what it's going to be. It's going to be the creativity of Steve Kerr that I think pushes the Warriors through.
Jordan Poole could have taken a dribble, gotten a better shot. It didn't bother me, though. I thought he played pretty well.
Yeah. We always focus on, like, the last shot. And to me, there were a lot of other things that they did that lost that game. It wasn't that last shot. That last shot could have stole it. There's a lot of other things that Jordan Poole did. There's a lot of other shots that he took that I take issue with. He has to. I
think that's who he is. I don't think he can grow up.
Do you think D'Angelo Russell has grown up?
I think D-Ross, there's a reason the Warriors got him out of town fast. There's a reason the Lakers moved off him. There's a reason the T-Wolves did. I always categorize them as like bounce around the league guys.
Yeah.
They're talented, and teams are looking for, like, for instance, the Lakers get D-Lo, and their takeaway is, we need some perimeter shooting.
Yeah.
Like Westbrook can't do it. So he gives them something, and last night did, that they didn't have.
Yeah.
But they're not building around him. They're not extending him. D-Lo's here for this year to give them some perimeter shooting. Austin Reeves, they're going to sign him.
Right.
Like, so I think Jared Vanderbilt works for them now.
Right.
They needed twitchier wing athletes. He was good against Steph. So I think the Lakers, it was a brilliant trade deadline move. They got longer, they got younger, they got twitchier, and they got better shooting.
Right.
So, but I don't look at, I just think, this is years and years ago. My late father, we had this discussion. And this was a real bone of contention. I'll go deep on my family history.
Please do.
So my dad was a small town doctor. Mm-hmm. And this would, so like if you needed glasses, you went to my dad in this entire county. Like we had like this was it. And I remember my sister and my dad were really close. And she had a couple friends, and my dad they have very bad credit. They don't pay their bills. And she was like, yeah, but I like the kids. And he was like, that's fine. I'm just telling you. I remember this battle, and I remember my dad saying, you don't pay your bills at 24, you don't pay them at 34, you don't pay them at 44. Like, people kind of are what they are.
Yeah.
He goes, I've had my business for 40 years. The people that didn't pay their bills 20 years ago, they don't pay them now.
Yeah.
And I always, as a kid, I remember listening to this, and my sisters, barking at Dad. But I guess his point was, and I've seen this my entire life, you're kind of formed by like 25. No, I'm not saying you can't grow up. You get married. You're a single guy. You get married. But when I watch pro athletes, the guys that are really mature, are really mature early. And the guys that Baker Mayfield and Manziel, this is kind of who they are. It's the chip on their shoulder. They're always going to be that guy. Russell Wilson could have been, literally Larry Fitzgerald. I had dinner the other night with an NFL GM. And he goes, Larry Fitzgerald could run a Fortune 500 company. He could run the league. He goes, he's been like that since he was like 12.
Yeah.
And so I guess my point on guys that bounce around sports or bounce around teams, they kind of are what they are. And if they can fit into your system briefly, then pay them and have a nice brief relationship.
I agree with that, but I do believe that what happens is that teams recognize who these guys are and they find the fit. Like, this is a really good fit for D'Lo.
Yes, they need him.
They need him, but he's just playing a particular role. Like, we need some scoring. We need somebody to hit a three. Like, as soon as the defense becomes more problematic than the scoring, he's off.
That's right.
Like, they don't play him if he's not providing the thing that they need from him, right?
That's why he's a good fit for them.
Right. And the problem with Jordan right now is that as a result of last year and as a result of getting paid, he's trying to do way too much.
Yes, I agree.
Like, at the times where, and again, this is where it's just the shot selection. He's a really good shooter. And a wide open three, look, he was, 6 for 10 going into that shot? That's not the problem. It's the bad selections, or when he's driving 1-on-2 and then he's looking for a foul and he goes sliding out of bounds and now we got a 5-4 the other way.
He also disengages defensively. Like, he doesn't know who his man is all the time.
I also don't need you talking trash the first half when you banked in a shot.
So I guess this goes back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
Is I think you have to instead of trying to change people.
Yeah.
LeBron James walked into this league, and by year 3 or 4, he was a fully formed man. He was a businessman. He was a basketball player. He was a husband. And it's like, so you've always known what you could bank on with LeBron. Now, I'm not saying the Miami loss didn't make him more self-aware of what he could do and couldn't do. But I think too often in sports, we're trying to change young people. And they are what they are by 25.
Yeah, but this is the distinction. And I'm glad you brought up LeBron, because I think that this is the example, which is LeBron I don't think he was fully formed until he went to Miami.
But
I think they finished him. But he was aware that he needed something else. He was seeking to evolve. And the guys that don't. are the guys are not aware that they need to.
So
right?
Draymond Green is a guy that literally from the day he showed up at Michigan State to the day he ended was a different person.
Yes.
To the day he showed up into the NBA to the day today. But I know Draymond. He is curious. Mm-hmm. He is he loves to learn. But that's always been who he was.
Right.
Tom Izzo's like first day on.
I'll give you that.
So, I think people are either curious and ascending and hungry for information and improvement, or they're just like, hey, man, I'm getting paid. I love this life. And I'm like, I'm good with both.
And that is a big thing with guys in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's often said. It's like, do you play the game for the game, or do you play because of what the game can give you?
That's right. By the way, it's same in the NFL. Trent Dilfer always said, Tony Gonzalez, I once said, what percentage of players love football? Love it. He goes, 3%.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I think you get into trouble trying to fundamentally change Jordan Poole. I think he's just going to be kind of a young guy. He's a free spirit. And so when you start asking him to be mature and don't be reckless, okay, you're taking away a little bit of his artistry and a little bit of who he is.
Yeah.
And that's fundamentally who he is.
Yeah. But I believe that there is a way to contain that. I believe there's a way to extricate the good and minimize the bad. Now you're always going to be juggling it and trying to find the perfect fit.
Bucher, this is why I don't get frustrated with people because I come to terms with who they are and I move off them quick.
Fair.
Or into them quick.
That's probably why we haven't had dinner in a couple of weeks.
Come
I'm guessing.
Okay. All right. Bukes. I got
Kidding.
no problem Embiid winning the MVP.
Good.
Okay.
Because I voted for him.
Okay. But I was told years ago that triple-double is everything, of which I said, no, it's not, or we talk about Oscar Robertson all the time.
Yeah.
If you want to give it to Westbrook because he got abandoned, give it to him.
Yeah.
But don't tell me the triple-double is everything because Jokic is a walking triple-double, and he got blown away in the voting.
This is what troubles me.
Did you ever vote for Jokic?
I have never voted.
That doesn't bother
I've never
me.
put him at the top of my ballot.
Okay.
He's been on my ballot.
Okay.
I think he's been maybe even second a couple of times. He's never been at the top. This year was the closest that I got to putting him at the top. My great concern is that the reason Jokic didn't win, there were two reasons that are not necessarily good reasons. One is players across the league seem to be campaigning for Joel Embiid.
No question.
Right?
No question.
And two, the stigma of Jokic winning it 3 years in a row.
Yeah, Jordan didn't.
I said at the beginning of the year, I thought that voters were going, if they were just looking for a reason not to vote for Jokic. They just needed one.
I'm going to throw this at
and
you.
they found it.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.